Welcome to my coding channel, Coding Learner. So this is C++ tutorial lecture number 9. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe. In this video, we cover the various pattern question which is advanced. So we have to move forward. So this is our pattern number first in this lecture. Now we have to admire the problem first. First we have to admire the problem always, because it gives us a conceptual view how we what we want to do to get these type of patterns. So first there is a 4 space and then we have a 5 star, and in the second row the space is decremented by 1 and then the 5 star is present. Next, third row contains just 2 space and 5 star. Fourth row contains just 1 space and then 5 star. So what was happening, and in the each row the space is decremented by the 1 but the star will be remain same. So now we have to code that. So first we have to make a loop for rows which goes from 1 to n times and it incremented by 1. Now we have to print our space first. So what we are doing here, we take integer g is equals to 1 and in every time it will be smaller than equals to n minus I. So when and it was incremented by 1. So why I write here n minus 9? Because when we are in first row, so our ith value will be 1. So let take example, n will be 5. So 5 minus 1, we got 4 space, and then in the second row the ith value will be 2. Now 5 minus 2 will be 3. So here we got our just 3 space and so on. Now we have a out statement which shows there is a space between them. Now we have to print our star. Now what was happening here, we not incremented or decremented our star. We want to print our star 5 times in each row. So what we are doing here, for the j will be smaller than equals to n, and in each time it will be incremented by 1. See, we have a out statement which print our star, and that's it. And after the performing these iteration, we have to move to the another row. So we have a line break statement endl. So that's it. We have to run the program. Let's see what we get. Now first we have to give the value of n. So let's take 5 as a value. So that's it, what we get. To understand more clearly, we take this so that we can identify how many times the space will be printed in these pattern. Take 5 as an input and that's it. We have a 4 space in the first row, then we have a 3 space in the second row, then we have a 2 space in the third row, and the star will be remain same. It will contain 5 star. So that's it about these pattern. So this is our pattern number second. So first we have to admire the pattern which we have to deal with in. So let's start. Let's take the first row. In the first row there is a 3 space and just 1 star. So this is the pattern contain 4 row, and in the first row there is a 3 space. So the rows will be fixed, it goes from 1 to 4, but the column is divided by the space and the star. So first we have to know that how we print the space. So when we are in first row we have 3 space, and when we move to the second row we are having just 2 space, and then third row contain just 1 space. So what was happening here, the space will be decremented by 1 in each row. So when we are, let's take n minus 1. So when we are in the first row we have 4 minus 3, 4 minus 1 is equals to 3 space, and when we are in second row we have 4 minus 2, just 2 space here, and when we are in third row we are getting n minus 3 will be just 1 space. So what we are doing to what we get is, here is I. In each row the value of the number of times the space will be printed is n minus I. I will be the number of row in with the row number in which we are standing here. Now we have to move forward. Now we have to see how we get the star. In the first row we have just 1 star, second we have 3 star, and next we have 5 star, and the last there is 7 star. Okay, 7 star. So what was happening here, when we multiply 2 by I and it will be decremented by 1. So what we get, when we are in first row the value of I will be 1. So 2 into 1 will be 2, and 2 minus 1 will be 1. So here we got just 1 star, and when we are in the second row the value of I will be 2. So 2 into 2 will be 4, and 4 is decremented by the 1, we got 3 star, and so on. Now we have to move forward. Let's code it. It start from ith iteration, which is our row, and I is smaller than equals to n 1. Now we have increment statements, and now we have int j which start from 1, and j will be decremented by n minus I each time is equals to n minus I, and j will be plus plus update expression will be this. And now we have out statement. Let's take this as an output statement. Now we have for loop for star which goes from 1 and it goes to 2 star I minus 1, and it must be incremented by 1 in each step. So we have to move to the next column. Now we have out statement which print our star. That's it. Now we have a break line after printing each row. So that's it. Let's take a look what we get. Let's take 4 as an input. Okay, we are doing something wrong here. We are not getting the first star, the 1 star at the above. means we have to include is equals to here. Then we have to move forward. Let's see what we get. 4. So that's it. Let's take it more clear so that you can identify what we get the exact pattern. 4. So that's it. Similar pattern we have here. So this is our pattern number 3rd, in which we have to print half pyramid like structure, but it is not similar here because we have a number. In the first row we have a 1, and the second row we have to print 2 times, and then we have 3 number which is printed 3 times. Now we have in the fourth row we have 4 number which is printed 4 times. In the fifth row we have a 5 number which is printed 5 times. So let's take a row I is equals to 1 and I must be smaller than equals to n, and it is incremented by 1 every time. So for first column we seen that the loop will must be run. It depends on the row. The loop condition will depends on the row. So first we have to initialize our variable j is equals to 1, and j is must be smaller than equals to the value of I. If the value of I will be 1, the loop will be run just one time. If the value of I will be 2, so the loop will be print 2 times 2. So this is our condition, and each step we have to increment the value of j 2 times. So here we got a out statement which contain the value of I, not j. It contains the value of I, and we have just space here, and each time the cout statement will break the line for every row. Now we have to run it. Let's see what we get. Let's take 5. So that's it. The first row contains just one element 1. The second row contains 2 element 2. The third row contains just 3 element 3 times. Now the fourth will contain fourth number 4 times, and the last 5 number 5 times. So that's it. So this is our next pattern, and which is looks similar to the previous problem. In this pattern we have one element in the first row, and we have 2 element in the second row. Then we have 3 element in the third row, and fourth element contains fourth row contains 4 element, and the fifth row contains 5 elements. So here we got what was different here is have to the number will be incremented by 1 in each time. If 1, then print 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, and so on. So what we are doing here, first we always call our row loop which goes from 1 to n and is incremented by 1 every time. So in these we take a count variable which counts the number every time, and it is initialized by 1. So next we have for loop for j, or the column which is goes from j is equals to 1 and it is smaller than equals to I, and the j will be incremented by 1. Change will be occurs here. We have a out statement and we have to write our out variable, count variable, which contains space, and that's it. And every time it will be incremented by 1, so that when we are moved to the next second iteration of the column in the row, we got 3 as in count. So that's it. Now we have break line statement, ENDL, to break the line for every row. So let's check. Let's check for 5 and that's it. So the same pattern we got here. The 1 will be the first element of the first row. 2, 3 is the element of the second row. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 will be the element of the third row. So that's it about today's lecture. So this is our last pattern of lecture number 9. So what was happening here? First we have there is just 1 and 0 number and no other another numbers. So in the first row we have just 1, the second row contains 0 and 1, the third row contain will be 1 and 1, 1 and 1 0 and 1, and next will contain 0 1 0 1 and so on. So what was happening here? First we have a loop for row which goes from the number of the number of the rows contains here will be 5. So the rows the first row will goes from 1 to n times, and it was incremented by 1 in every time. So and in each row the printed element will be depend on the number of the row are you present. In the first row the element will be printed just one, and next the in the second row the element will be print 2 times, and in the third row the element will be printed 3 times. So we identify here the rows loop from group loop goes from 1 to n, and the column group goes 1 to n I. So now we have to put here condition. We are admiring the pattern first when the value of I will be 1 and we are in the first column, which means 1 plus 1 is equals to 2, which is even number. We have to print here 1, and in the second row the one element will be present to the second row in the second column. So here 2 plus 2 will be 4. So in every iteration of I plus j, if the sum is equals to the even number, we have to print 1 here, then else we have to print 0. So that's it about the description. Now we have to code here. Now to printing 0 and 1, we have to place if else condition. If I plus j modulus 2 is equals to 0. If they are even number, we have out statement which print just 1 here. Else it's print 0. And each time of the completion of the first row, there is a out statement which breaks the line. Now we have to run it. Let's see what we get. Okay, first we have to define the input. Let's take 5 as an input. Okay, there is a must be the possibility of error. Let's take bracket here. Let's see what we get. Okay, that's how we got first element just 1, and the second row contains two elements 0 and 1. The third row will contains three elements which is 1, 0 and 1, etc. So that's it about these lecture. We see more upcoming video which is based on the OOPS concept. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe.